final days of my early 20s, traveling the world, trying to find the ideal place to raise a family. The original plan was keep being a degenerate until I'm 30 before kneeling on a prayer mat, but you can't procrastinate truth forever. Even though I probably won't buy a house in the middle of nowhere, Spain, I see this search as the highest act of resistance.
People throw the term selling out a lot, and I believe that if you accept a dead-end fucking job to pay your bills, you're selling out.
10 years of making videos has defined most of my conscious life. Now I'm forced to create goals that are attainable for the next 10 years. I accomplished everything I had planned at 14. Right now is a defining moment in life where I could either coast off the dopamine of success, spending money on drugs and casual sex, or start from a new zero. You both know the correct decision, but people need a constant reminder. These worldly temptations were outlined for 2 hours straight by a sheikh that I met in Madrid. In that masjid, he slowly explained in broken English and French how drugs, sex, and filth is fun, but more important than health, it's corrupting your soul. Of course I want to be a degenerate. I fantasize all the time about a month directly after Ramadan called Haramadan, where you can just indulge in degeneracy for 30 days straight. That temptation is strong, but the happiness is fleeting. The highest form of human achievement is inspiration. Clearly defining your purpose and working towards accomplishing it is the only way.
Seeing people on TV making something out of their lives while I'm filing reports for a corporation I despise would kill me.
It took me a decade to learn the very simple truth they cannot teach in school. The world is run by satanic billionaires, and as long as we're controlled, we're underneath their spell. Almost all people fit into one of two groups. One side will mutilate their children to fit a gender ideology, and the other gets vasectomies to have meaningless sex forever. But both sides don't realize they're conforming to ideas they would have never had by following God. Everyone is coping and adjusting to the evil that rules over us. There's enough resources for everyone to be happy. There's enough love, enough empathy, but greed corrupts the human spirit. Without greed, we have everything we need. Greed has 0.1% of the population in a chokehold that 99.9% can't even comprehend. Today marks a decade since I started my YouTube channel called Sneako, and it's because of that greed that I don't have my channel to celebrate it. The greed that has the pharmaceutical companies keeping us sick. That greed that rigs elections so they maintain control. Those 10 years define an internal struggle that every person can relate to. Visually, it's defined by a rat in a maze. Like everyone, you start the maze looking for a way out, but whoever set it up put up traps with poisonous cheese. Even when the rat discovers the cheese is poisonous because there's carcasses laying all around, it still chooses to eat it from any reason ranging from finances to mental health. When I started the maze playing video games, I had learned freedom of expression. In that time of life where you're free from responsibility, but held back by fear of judgment. Just insecure enough to find your voice in secret. Then adolescence hit and set the existential dread that defines most people. What are you going to do for the rest of your life? How much of my true self can I compromise to pay the bills and simultaneously maintain sanity? This is where most people choose the comfort zone in life. When the rat decides to eat the cheese because it tastes good enough to ignore the poison. Then my early 20s was a spiritual battle that forced me to ask a question that we've all had to answer. How do I find happiness now that I'm aware of this maze? The rat's not supposed to know where it really is. The maze doesn't even have an exit. It was designed purely for someone's entertainment. Now the rat can frantically run around forever or die slowly nibbling the cheese. The rat can go back to the entrance, but there's no way out. The only actual way to get out is mentally.